okay, everyone knows there's some modern facility. We have restrooms down the hallway. 1216 is our number. A little moment to say hi to my mom. That's my mom's stove over there on the side with her little picture on the top. She and I. I inherited that about a year and a half ago or so. And 1953 Wedgwood 6-burner 2-oven 2 broiler that she cooked on for close to 70 years. And I had to clean when I was growing up in the house. We consider it one of our siblings. I have 6 sisters, a brother, and a stove. Sean, did you put up the video? Yeah. Yeah, I did. Oh, it says it can't send it. Must have been too quick. All right, never mind. You don't get to see my cute new grandchildren.
Oh. You know what is it? 2 months now, Tom?
Yeah, 11 weeks.
Almost 3. That's amazing.
It's just
That's
Scott
never
today.
happened before. Just Scott today? Why is Keith hating on us? Why is Keith hating on us? Yeah?
He's on a TV show. So then we'll in the opening. Cross off.
Keith. All right. Brigitte, are you ready?
I'm ready, Tom. Let's go.
Pull that microphone up to you so you don't naturally just drift backwards.
So my posture is correct.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Good.
Sexy.
It's the head cold.
A little bit tail end.
Yeah?
Yeah, what is that all about? That
I know your kid's like 15 now, right? Or 16, 17. What is he?
18.
18.
Senior at
They're not
Ballard High
supposed to be,
School.
they're not supposed to be bringing home colds anymore.
I think any gathering now, you're going to get something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, stay away from hers.
No. Come on. I'm at the
No,
tail end.
She just cooked your breakfast, but you know.
It's hot. Baby.
Well, then we might need some ice, baby.
Exactly.
Oh, come on. That was good stuff. We're on, like I said, on live. We've got a camera here, a camera there, and we're going to get rolling here. Welcome to the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo Radio. It's Tom Douglas
And Bridget Charters.
and Chef Brigitte sitting in for Terry. When you're sitting in for Terry, you have to go with Brigitte.
Brigitte.
Okay?
We, chef.
We. I'm Tom Douglas. As I said, Chef Terry is on sabbatical for a bit.
No.
He is recovering from his little operation, and he'll be back here in, maybe 6 months or so?
Woohoo.
Can
So
he
when you come-
have you seen him yet?
No.
Is he the boy on the bubble? Oh.
No.
Got it.
Yeah, he's doing great. He's
Good.
He's doing awesome, and we're going to leave it at that. He'll be on soon enough. I'm sure we'll zoom in for us.
Cool.
You're listening to us on Cairo, as you know. Thank you for joining us. And if you can't get to the show in person, well, you can watch us on YouTube. Go to tomdouglasandco.com.
It's fun to watch. I
Sign
love
up.
it.
It's free.
Yep.
And the more subscribers we have, the more free it is.
Ah,
Just saying.
very good.
Yeah, over 100 subscribers, and then things start to work out for us.
Yeah, if I'm at home during this, it's pretty fun to sit and watch. I
Really?
just put it on my phone and go about my morning, and
I
there
like
it
it.
is.
Chef Brigitte, what do you do here at the Hot Stove?
I opened this place for Tom in 2014.
Thank
with
you very
Tom,
much.
with the entire team. It was amazing. It was intense. And I'm now one of the chefs here, along with Sean McFadden over there.
And
Tom.
me, I do some classes.
We teach
I
classes.
got a Thanksgiving class coming up. Did you know that?
I know. I saw.
Excited about that. When I don't even know when that is, but we also have we do
It's-
lots of things.
Yeah, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving that your classes. They're
Is it
just
like
about
the
to post it.
16th of something
16th
like
or 17th. Yeah.
that. Drink Like an Italian from the Amalfi Coast on Friday, October 20th is coming up, and also Pizza at Home coming up on October 28th.
Super popular class.
So we do lots
love
of
that.
public classes, and then
Yep.
also tons of team builders, and also we do our radio show here. This is where I film my evening spots, which I'll be
Evening
doing
magazine?
on Tuesday. Yeah,
What are you doing
you
for
know,
that
it's not
one?
called magazine anymore. It's just evening. King 5 evening,
Oh, very
Yeah.
hip.
which means they can't run it in the morning because it's evening.
And Tom, I got invited
good
to
show.
a morale event here next week.
A morale,
A morale event.
A
yes.
what?
A morale event.
for our
For
team?
us?
Nope. For some
Oh,
other friends.
somebody's buying us,
Yes.
buying their morale.
So I'm
with
going to be a
us.
guest here again. I
I
love,
love
being here.
that.
Yeah.
Chef, not just almost said it, but you can be. Chef Becky is our producer now. She has been stepping in for a bit, and also Loretta is here somewhere. I just saw her in the back. Our daughter Jackie's and my daughter Loretta, mother of Adonis, Athena, and Hercules. My grandchildren,
Correct.
yes, who I had the pleasure of watching last night for a few minutes. It's a family affair. Family affair. You know, tell us about Hispanic Heritage Month.
Well, it runs from September 15th to October 15th. And we're just wrapping up in a few days here.
Right. We have a couple of segments today. We're going to talk about it. My taste of the week is related.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it.
Well, I make homemade tortillas. I love them. I
Mhm.
just think they're fun, and I've been making them for years. And Bridget teaches a masa class.
Masa Masters.
Masa Masters class here. She makes tortillas, blah, blah, blah. So I'm making tortillas over at the farm with Carmen, who works with us at the farm. And she watches me make the tortillas, and she just kind of shakes her head and walks away. And she didn't think I saw her shaking her head and walking away.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, Carmen, come over here. What?
Explain yourself.
Yeah, what was that all about? And she said, she picked up a tortilla, she looked at it, she bent it, and it broke in half. And she said, way too dry.
Ah.
No
so-
bueno.
Way too dry. She didn't say no bueno,
Oh, that
but
was
she
nice
meant
of
to
her.
say it. Yeah.
The
And
shake of head was enough.
The
So-
shake of head was really, I was despondent afterwards. And because I've made tortillas for a very long time. And so I said, well, Smarty, you do it. Because I like to cook Mexican food with
Mhm.
her. She's a terrific cook, but we cook very differently.
Mhm.
And I like on my pozole, I like a nice little shimmer of pork fat on the top. You know, I
Right.
love that. No greasy. No, she takes the fat off of everything. So it's like, okay, so we just cook differently. But anyway, her tortillas are so much wetter than mine. Is when she griddles them, they poof up a little bit like a pita bread almost. And when she pops them into the tortilla blanket or holder,
Uh-huh.
you know, that's when they actually kind of sort of
Get
cook.
their-
The steam kind of helps cook them. And they are just the most lovely little pillows.
So you learned something.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And it would just tick me off that I didn't know it before. I was literally underhydrating my masa
Uh-huh.
by,
Wow.
I would say, like, I tend to go
50%.
I tend to go a cup of masa, a cup of water, right? She goes a cup of masa, cup and a half of water. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
big difference.
Yeah.
And so they're very wet and they griddle up beautifully. And here we go. That's my taste of the week.
That's awesome. You sold one of my tastes.
Oh, I did. I love that.
I know. It's we've been working with this amazing masa here. It's not the big commodity stuff. It's a new label called Masienda.
Have you seen their commercial on TV?
No.
Yeah.
Wow. They've got the big bucks now.
No, they're like one of those bank commercials that features one of the players, like Bank of America or Capital One or something like
Oh,
that.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. Anyway, Jorge's a lovely guy down in LA, and he worked with your buddy Bayless in Chicago, all kind of the top Mexican
Oh,
restaurants
my
in the
buddy.
United States.
My buddy.
Isn't he?
Yes, he's my friend.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jorge was like, I can't believe we're not working with a fresh masa. So he went down to Oaxaca and researched different farms. And he now has over 30 small farmers out of Oaxaca providing him with corn for his company in LA. And he now sells that masa at Whole Foods, bags of it at Whole Foods. So
And here.
yeah, and here we have
Mhm.
big 50-pound sacks come in. And so anyway, we've been eating a lot of salmon. It's been a great salmon
Yeah, it
season
has.
here in the Northwest. And my husband's become addicted. He was addicted to golf like Tom. And now it's fishing. Holy smokers. So we've been having a lot of salmon. And finally I was like, okay, I can't have more grilled salmon. So we had salmon tacos.
Sounds
which was delicious. We pan-seared it.
Did
and
you use my fish taco spice? Yeah.
Yeah, we used the taco spice. We seared the fish, and then I made a little slaw. I made fresh tortillas,
Uh-huh.
and then I made a couple of different types of salsas. My son was thrilled.
Now that I'm aware of what Carmen has taught me, do you want me to come teach you, or how do you feel about your tortillas?
I'm feeling pretty solid. My story on that was we had a janitor when I was teaching at the Art Institute of Seattle, and I used to chat with her, and she owned a restaurant down on MLK, kind of deep down near Alaska Way. And she was walking by one day. I was teaching the Latin class, and I'm like, okay. Anyway,
you speak Latin too?
I learned a little bit in Catholic school. Anyway, it was amazing. She came by one day, and Maria was the one that taught the whole class about tortillas and about hydration. It was awesome. So I'm good. I'm solid. And it's amazing how wet and almost to the point that you can't handle it.
Yeah, it's almost like it sticks to your hand, and it just is counterintuitive to me. Yeah,
just lay it right.
Well, with that plastic wrap, you just lay it onto the griddle, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, who knew?
Come take a class.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Bridget. A little late. A little late for that one. I've already got the class. Chef Carmen told me. Shared with me. That's a nicer way to put it. Shared with me. All right. Coming up next, it's National Seafood Month. We're going to jump right in with Scott Sandvig and talk about Alaska Leader Seafoods on Cairo Radio.
Yeah.
It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Awesome.
We didn't do what the show's about. Okay. That's good. I'm learning.
Well, typically I would, but I just kind of got off onto that
no.
story, so then it's
Way better. Yeah. Because there's lots of lead ups and yeah.
and I can do it right now. I can
Yeah.
lead off to the next segment. So. Just do it like me, Scott. Just get right up there and get your NPR going.
No.
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
You want to put the other retail bags out?
Okay. Okay. I'll follow your lead. I'll follow Tom's lead. Sir. Yes, or however you'd like to make a beurre blanc. You say, there's a French beurre blanc on the back of the bag, but we're going to make a Tom Douglas beurre blanc. However you want to do it. Obviously, the other two are already marinated. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Perfect. I was, yes. Yes. So we had fun back then.
Probably.
No audience. I believe Chef Terry was here. Are you going to cook the other two as well? Okay.
Have a ton of time, so I'm going to try and figure this out.
Okay.
Now or secretary?
Well, I have to get it going
Got it.
so that it's ready.
I guess some folks trying to find the live stream. They're saying they're having a hard time.
Unless it goes, it's just a radio show that come out.
And
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to copy and send it to my wife. And,
Okay, Brigitte.
oh, that smells good.
Somebody set a timer for 4 minutes, please. All right, what's that? Let's try to convert this. That was exciting.
You get a little mini cooking show. Did you guys see that technique? If you have any questions later.
All right, we're back here in the Hot Stove Kitchen on Cairo Radio. I got some fish in the oven.
Yay.
It's going to be a very exciting segment because we're going to eat a lot of fish. Scott Sandvig is here from Alaskan Leader Seafoods. Let's first talk about Alaska Leader. What do you do and how do you do it?
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I work for Alaskan Leader Seafoods. We own and operate 4 freezer longline cod vessels that fish in the Bering Sea of Alaska. So each vessel is pretty unique in how we do our fishing. We actually use individually baited hooks to catch our fish. So we catch
Cool.
fish each fish one at a time, comes on board one at a time, immediately gets processed, bled, and then headed, gutted, and in the freezer on board within 1 hour of coming over the rail.
Wow.
So we really try
Awesome.
to capture the freshness of the fish right there
Mhm.
on board. We're typically fishing 400 to 600 miles offshore. So there's really no way to kind of bring that catch back to shore-based processing. So we want to do everything we can on board the boat as fast as we can.
And that's important to be that far offshore because the colder the water, the better the fish. Is that true?
Yes, we feel that is true. And you just have the ability to go find, where cod's schooling up and be able to really reach that fishery, as the Bering Sea is a huge, piece
Huge
of
area.
real estate out
Yeah.
there. So
So let's go back to your long line a bit and the individually baited hooks. When I've seen a long line, that line could be a mile long. Isn't that right?
ours
Or
is
longer.
45 miles long.
Wow.
45
Nuh-uh.
miles long.
Yes.
Wow.
So
we-
how do you individually bait 45 miles of hooks?
So originally in the 90s, when our first vessel was put to sea, they were hand baiting, and it was up to 60, 70,000 baited hooks per day. Now we have a piece of equipment made by Mustad. It's called an auto baiter, and it can bait 3 hooks a second.
Wow.
So on the stern of the vessel, there's a piece of equipment where a crew member is loading in frozen Eliac squid. And as the hooks and the gear go through this equipment, it chops a piece of squid, lines it up with the hook grabs it on its way out of the vessel.
Isn't
So
that
they do
crazy?
3 hooks
Cool.
a second.
Is it like a tube or a PVC tube or something that the
No, it's just kind of a little chamber
Track.
that's kind of chain drove, and then as the hooks go through it, it has they're setting the piece of equipment to cut X millimeters of bait. We obviously want
Wow.
to preserve the bait and manage the bait properly, because that's a big cost to us on the vessels. So yeah, back in the day they used to hand bait, but now it's all automated.
amazing?
So, I mean, I've worked with Alaska Seafoods for a long time, and I used to be a judge on the Alaska Symphony of Seafood.
Yes.
And you've brought us some things today, if I'm not mistaken. One of the reasons that you do this symphony is to create value-added products, right? You can
Yes.
catch all the cod you want, but if you can't sell it or sell enough of it, it's not a reasonable fishery.
Right.
And if it's not, of course, we wanted to make sure it's sustainably caught and
Of course.
all those things to go along with
Of
that. But
course.
still, tell us about the Symphony of Seafood. Tell me why I wasn't invited to be a judge this year. No, just kidding.
I'll have to talk to the board about that.
I know,
but
exactly.
I know them.
No, but tell us about it.
So the Symphony of Seafood was created, just to your point, to create new innovative ideas on how to bring seafood to market. So even with our own boats, we put up what we call headed and gutted, or a raw commodity of fish. So we want to get that fish into a marketable product and have something that is unique, creative. Maybe it's easy to prepare. It allows the consumer to, take the guessing work out of cooking fish. We hear still to this day that a lot of people are intimidated on cooking fish. They don't want to overcook it. They don't know how to prepare it. So some of these items you'll see here today are pre-marinated or have, really go-to recipes on the back of the bag that makes it easy and makes it fun too to cook at home. I think, for the Symphony piece, we want to encourage all the Alaska seafood producers or anybody who's using Alaska seafood to come to the table, bring what they've been working on, and help get not only recognition for the product, you also get some feedback from peers in our community. And then if you do win, you have a chance to go to the North American Seafood Show and enter into a global contest there as well.
Wow.
Again, getting good press, good feedback, and hopefully, some buyers out there will see your product.
Is that the one that happens in Boston every year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been there.
Have you been to that?
Well, I was developing black cod recipes for a while with the black
Ah.
cod, kind of supremes, just perfect little pieces of black cod. And I went there and we test marketed them. And, when I was chefing for the airlines way back when, Northwest Airlines, before it became Delta, one of the seafoods that I wanted to get on the plane was kasu cod, the sake lays and miso marinated black cod, right? Because you basically can't overcook it. The cod itself is so fatty and
So
perfect
good.
that
good.
it is, it's right on the money. And so I just thought it would be a good fish for the plane. But
Was it too weird for people?
It's fishy.
That's
It's a
too
little bit
bad.
too
It's
weird.
so good.
It is so good.
And it's best with the skin on, and nobody wants skin on the airplane, and blah blah blah. Airplane is all about
Clean.
is
tidy.
as disguised as you can make it, or a beef short rib. So Bridget, will you grab those pieces of fish out of that oven for me? So did these win a prize? These American Seafoods?
So all 3 of these items we brought here today, winners of the
Winners.
Symphony of
Uh-huh.
Seafood. We at Alaskan Leader have done our best to participate in the Symphony every year with new innovative ideas. So the first one is the lemon herb butter marinated Alaska cod that
Mhm.
won Best in Retail and the Grand Prize in 2018.
Wow.
Kind of a fun story on that. We actually developed a lot of marinades the year prior. We had chipotle lime, garlic pesto, honey teriyaki, lemon herb butter. And we were able to go to market with all of them actually at Costco and do a road show and showcase all the flavors and then kind of funnel in to see which one was the best, sold the best. And it actually turned out to be this lemon herb butter marinade. And you can still find it in grocery stores actually locally. I believe QFC is still carrying it, and HEB in Texas, some other retailers in California. So it's still, from 2017, 18 when we launched it, it's still in the marketplace today.
Wow.
When I was judging, there was an awful lot of, what to do with all the Bristol Bay salmon, right? And lots of Native Corp people trying to create more work and jobs up in Alaska through smoking and through all, different processes. Tons of fried fish.
Sure.
It seems to me that the Alaska seafood market is certainly publicly moving away from the whole fried category and into these fresh fillets.
You mean?
I think it's
deep
really
fried?
smart. Yeah,
deep fried. Yeah.
I mean, pollock forever has been, it's in your McDonald's fish switch. It's in everything, right? So, but I love the idea that you guys are moving out of the fried fish market and fish stick market and into these beautiful fillets, taking and presenting what I think is an amazing product.
Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
presenting it in a better way.
Yeah. And, we always feel that our product, our cod from the longline aspect, frozen at sea raw material, gives us the best, presentation on the plate. So to get away from masking it, poor quality fish, masking it with a batter or breading, to letting it shine as more of a center plate with a beautiful sauce, a dry rub, maybe from a Tom Douglas series. Right. And really let that fish shine as a quality piece of fish, not something that you want to mask and hide with a batter or breading.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Do you process all of these marinated fish? I may have missed this on the boat.
No.
Okay, but do you portion them on the boat?
No, we want to get that fish flash frozen as fast as we can to really preserve the quality. So, the clock doesn't start ticking on our fish until I bring it to Seattle. And that's where we do all of our further processing, value adding. The boat, the real estate is so important that it's hard to bring on all that type of equipment on board the boat.
Yeah.
Especially
Bridget, down at Seatown, we go through tons and tons of Alaska cod for our fish and chips, right? Yeah. And it comes in what they call a shatter pack. And it's a 15-pound box, and there's a layer of wrap in between each layer of fish. And so you can literally bang it on the table and all the frozen fillets separate whole.
Wow.
And then you can portion them.
Then you
perfectly.
Portion them. You let them slack out.
Yeah.
Got it.
Portion.
Cool.
And, with the innovation in freezing on the boat, which is something that we didn't have for years, right? You can, in Des Moines, Iowa, you can have a perfect sockeye salmon fillet, just like you can in Des Moines, Washington.
Yep.
Right.
And it's pretty
That's
cool.
pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, freezing technology's come a long way.
Yeah. I think the one thing that needs to happen is people need to understand how to slack better. Because there's a lot of misinformation on running it underwater or whatever, letting it sit on your counter for 4 hours. But the best way is to put it in the fridge and let it thaw in the fridge overnight if possible.
Yeah, under refrigeration certainly is the best if you have the time.
Yeah. I was just looking at these going, oh, this is great for my husband the nights I'm working here at the hot stove to have that. And just pop a couple out. That's awesome.
Tell him to go catch a dang fish. He lives on the sound.
I know rockfish is a little tricky, right?
All right, we're going to cook some of these delicious little portions from American Seafoods, Alaskan Leader Seafoods. I'm sorry. And when we come back in our next segment on Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Awesome.
Taking my rosé, we're getting very fancy rosé instead of red wine. See that?
It's beautiful.
And with the shallots, we put that down to a syrup. what she said.
That is.
Oh, you're gonna win trivia.
Let's call it good song.
That doesn't look like a construction meat. This one for that.
So do you want to tell us the beurre blanc sauce for the sockeye? that you're
Well,
working
we're
on?
on break right now, right?
Oh, okay.
So I just have to get it. So now once I get my wine and my shallots down to a syrup, or as Bridget says, a cuisson, I'm going to add my butter.
Just a little bit.
We're making a beurre blanc. Now there's a recipe on the back of the package for this. Basically, you want to leave your heat on enough to get the butter melted and a warm sauce, but if you boil this, you'll break it into the cake. So I'm going to let the hot iron burner grate now my hands warm. I've got my fire off. So Bridget, you like to add a little cream to that mix, right? Because it helps it hold together.
It just is a cheater method to kind of stabilize that so you don't have to be. You can add a
So
little.
now you can see I've got the multiplication. It looks a little bit like a mayonnaise, but it's actually a butter sauce. So the other thing I would normally add is a little fish stock to reduce down with the wine,
Mm.
just to give it a little more depth of flavor. Okay. I will not. Short timer. Loretta, do you want to try and portion some of these out?
I've got plates here.
Also, there's an opportunity to talk about the miso blackout. I'd like to
Okay.
talk a little bit about that. Okay.
Talk about that.
Okay, perfect.
Do you feel like we you addressed sustainability enough, or maybe I could?
That's fine.
Okay. Well,
I mean, if you have more questions about it, I'm happy to answer them.
I thought it was so sweet they thought about that.
yeah. Okay. Probably that, but I'll just.
All right, they're gonna break those up for you guys. Get the butter sauce. Now remember when it comes out, it's gonna look All right, here we go. Welcome back. It's Hot Stove Society time. We're in beautiful Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle. Thank you for joining us. We're in the middle of a large show, so we're kind of running around. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. We're wrapping that up. We are going to have food for thought, tasty trivia at the end of the show.
Love that. Love that.
We've got Gabriel Chavez. We got Gabriel Chavez here today. Talk about his restaurant. There's so much to get to. Next, we're going to jump into. Oh, and by the way, Series Pie Ballard's opening today.
I know that's so. Are you going down there later?
You bet.
Man.
I'm playing golf tonight or this afternoon, and then I'm going to Series Pie Ballard.
Oh, nice.
We're going to continue here with Scott from Alaska
Leader Seafoods.
We're going to continue here. Sean DeTore, can you fix that for me, please? We're going to.
You'll get it by the end.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to continue with Scott Sandvig from. I just can't do it. There it is. We're going to continue with Scott Sandvig from Alaskan Leader Seafoods. And so we found out how the fish was caught in the last segment. It's astonishing when you talk about baiting 3 hooks a second on the big boats.
It's awesome.
Now we've got the product. It's in your Costco. It's in your grocery store, wherever you happen to find it. Look for Alaska Leader Seafoods. And what we have today is wild caught Alaska cod with lemon herb butter. We have an all natural Alaska sable fish black
Yum.
cod done with
Yum.
miso.
That's what I want.
Yeah, and
I mean, I want them all, but
I had that on the Cafe Sport menu. I used to have to throw it away because nobody would buy it.
oh,
1984, and then Bristol Bay, Alaska sockeye salmon, and we've cooked all 3 types. And Scott, you had me make a little beurre blanc, which I kind of went off the rails a
No
little bit. I
problem.
made it with some rosé wine, so it's got a beautiful pink quality to it. And
you could add herbs to it. I mean, the
I did. I
marinade-
added I added a little Italian herb to it.
What are the herbs in your marinade?
There's
for that?
nothing in the salmon.
No, oh, you did that for the salmon,
I
but
did
there's
that
that
for salmon.
herb
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
the
cod,
lemon,
yeah.
herb butter, Alaska cod, it's got chives and a few things like that.
Oh,
Oh.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. That looks
Put a
beautiful.
little green color in there.
Yeah.
You know what I love
Yeah.
about these as a home cook is they're frozen, and you've got nice little recipes on how to make the beurre blanc for those of us who aren't chefs
Uh-huh.
and can go off the rails. So it's really an approachable way to.
Yeah, it's great. So we're here in the Northwest. Where can we find this product in the Northwest? QFC?
QFC is carrying certainly the lemon butter Alaska cod, and then I think the miso black cod and the sockeye salmon. Those are being sold more out of state at the moment.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Not Costco?
Not Costco right now. You can certainly find Alaska black cod and Alaska sockeye salmon at Costco, but unfortunately not these items specifically.
Oh, shoot.
So tell
Yeah.
us about the miso black cod. That's a dish that I put on the menu many, many years ago. I did it with a little seaweed salad, and I used to get it from my friend Harry down at Mutual Fish, and it
Okay.
was just the bomb.
It
And
is the bomb.
when people finally would try it, they would never stop eating it.
Right.
But getting them to try it back then, because I feel like I was one of the first Caucasian chefs to put it on a menu. It was
Mhm.
always in Japantown or Japanese restaurants.
Right.
So now people have discovered it.
Yeah, and we want to continue to push it because it's such a great fish. It's certainly one of the most sustainable fisheries in Alaska with a growing
Right.
quota. So there's even
Really?
more of an abundance
Huh.
of black cod being harvested every year. So it's a very healthy fishery right now. So we want to continue to promote that. Like you said, it was always, traditional in the Japanese, cuisine. A lot of it exported to Japan, but now we're having such an abundance of fish. We want to bring it and introduce it more to the domestic market. So what we did is we took a miso recipe on the back of the bag, and part of that was we just couldn't find the right miso to do a pre-marinated item. Everyone's kind of struggled with that, trying to make it
Oh.
commercially. How do you do it? And luckily for us, last year we were introduced to Hikari miso out of Nagano, Japan. And we sent a man there, and he flew to Japan. He met with the whole team. He went to the Japanese Alps in Nagano and discovered this beautiful miso that we are now flying in fresh, importing from Japan
Wow.
and putting it right on our fish. So we kind of bypassed how do you make it commercially and went right to the source. And this is a company that makes the miso for the world famous Nobu miso black cod.
Right.
Ah.
And a lot of people have heard of that. So we kind of took that, ran with it, and are now, putting it right on the fish, making it super easy for the home consumer, but also for the food service market, for any, chain restaurant or even single operators. It's something that they can buy from a distributor, slack out, and have miso marinated black cod ready to go.
That's perfect.
That's consistent, 365 days a year. So we're really excited about that item.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wow.
And is it not to get too far down on this, but is it the classic kind of kasu miso? So is it miso mixed with the sediment from sake tanks? Is it
Yes.
that's kind of classic
Yeah,
recipe?
kind of
Okay.
classic. Yeah. So even on the back of the bag, it's pretty simple. It's mirin, miso, sugar, and sake. 4 ingredients that
Wow.
you mix together. So
Okay.
you can make it at home relatively easily, as I'm sure you guys know. But this is the same process. We just went right to Japan and got it direct from the source. So
Wow,
it's
how
an
fun.
amazing product, which your guests are trying tonight. or today.
Okay, so then let's move on to the Alaska cod, the lemon herb butter. You said that's your kind of your best seller. Is there a process in making that so it stays moist? Because the biggest complaint I get from home cooks is that it's dry,
Right.
and so one of the nice things about having the butter on it, it's going to take away some of that dryness.
Sure. Yeah. That sauce is on there. It's ready to go to kind of help coat the fish, especially when you're baking it in the oven, keep that moisture in the fish, and then act as a beautiful sauce. We sometimes suggest putting it on like a bed of asparagus or any kind of green vegetable.
Oh, that's a good
The
idea.
sauce will penetrate into the vegetables, which is really nice. Any kind of rice pilaf or basmati rice too. So you kind of get your, your fish protein with a little starch or a little veggie, and that sauce will just complement everything.
Nice. So do you normally oven bake yours, or do you, Tom, pan
I probably
seared
would
yours?
have I was just busy, but I probably, looking back, I would probably have baked the cod. I don't mind getting a nice sear on the
the
stable
katsu.
fish, on the katsu, because unless you're going under a broiler, you're not going to get that great caramelization.
Ah,
exactly.
And then on sockeye salmon, I saute all the time. So
Right.
yeah.
To get that nice sear.
Yeah.
And I would agree with Tom. That's how I would do all three. Oven bake the cod, pan sear the sable fish, that flesh side down to get that nice caramelization, finish it in the oven. And then the sockeye, I like to pan sear mine at home, or of course do it on the grill in your backyard in the summertime.
Gotta love
One thing,
that.
Bridget, that people will often do is they'll get rid of the skin on the black cod. And of all the different fish where skin is important, the skin on black cod it caramelizes up so beautifully, and it's nice and fatty. It's got a lot of omega-3s in it, and try
it's
it. At
good
least
for
try
you.
it.
So
No,
eat it all.
not just good for you. It's delicious.
Right.
And so I would say, at least take one bite with the skin on. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm looking at the protein content: 170 calories and 26 grams of protein.
Yep.
is that a lot? I wouldn't even know.
That is
That's
a lot.
For
Yeah,
it's
honestly,
you get
I
a lot
wouldn't.
of bang for your buck.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, wild caught seafood out of Alaska, is just one of the most healthiest proteins out there, and especially with cod and sockeye, very lean. The sable fish has a lot of natural fat and oil content in it, and part of that is because it lives up to 1,000 to 2,000 feet deep in the ocean.
Isn't that
So in order to
amazing?
survive at those temperatures and that pressure, it has to have that fat and that oil content. Similar to Chilean sea bass. So we like to call black cod, the Chilean sea bass of the north.
Mhm.
So hopefully we can continue to get traction as it's such a great fish, sustainable. And like I said, the fishery's growing. So there's
Yeah.
going to be more abundance of it.
That's amazing. Wow.
The other thing is, if you're not actually buying these pre-portioned packets in the freezer case, if you're in a grocery store or fish market and you're looking at black cod, look for 3 to 5 pound fish and up.
Oh,
All right, because it's the tiny little fish having the under pound and a half, which you'll see fillets for that all the time.
right.
They just haven't developed the fat content yet. So that's one of the things to think about when you're buying black cod, not in this way, but in a fish market.
Right.
That's a
Well,
great
and
A
tip.
bigger fish.
I go to Town and Country Market, PCC, and I see the marinated black cod.
Mhm.
Is that bulk? Do you guys also process and sell bulk? Because
Yeah, that
those
will
the
definitely
stores?
be our goals to go that route. So if you do find something in a Town and Country or PCC, I'd definitely try it and check it out. And maybe it'll be ours eventually. So.
yeah. Oh, got it. Okay.
Well, it's just a
Nice.
little thing because not everyone's going to find this. You just said it's not really sold in the Northwest, but if you're out looking for black cod, there you go. Look for the bigger fillets.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. Yeah. Certainly
Do they
there's
move
a
down? when
price
they-
point too that kind of you hit as it gets to the larger fish. So we try to hit that middle spot where we're cutting from 3 to 4 or 4 to 5 pound H
Yeah.
and G.
Yeah.
It gives us a good price point, but a good thickness in the fillet, which, like you said, has developed that oil and fat content
Yeah.
as well. So
That's
get
part
that
of
really
it.
nice
Which
flavor.
is delicious. Yeah. And then going back to the shatter pack cod. I mean, I love getting the frozen, bringing it home, and just letting it slack out. And I do a lot of Italian food, and it's so common in the Mediterranean,
Oh yeah,
to have that delicious cod. It's simple.
cod's been eaten in Europe for thousands of years, so
Yeah, and
it's
it's
in everybody's
neutral.
diet over there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a wonderful neutral flavor. You can put a little nice tomato sauce over it and a few
Well,
olives.
it could be
and
argued
capers.
that it was been eaten for thousands of years and they actually fished it out. That was the problem.
Right.
It wasn't a managed fishery. Up in Alaska, it's well managed fisheries.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
awesome.
Scott Sandvig, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
American leader. Just not going to be able to do it.
Alaskan Leader
Sean,
Seafoods.
Sean, fix that for me if you would. Alaska Leader Seafoods in the house here at the Hot Stove Society. We're going to be back with much more show for you today. We're going to continue our series with Grace Lin and the
Oh,
Chinese menu cookbook.
Nice.
On Cairo Radio, it's the
Awesome.
Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That was awesome.
Oh, you bet.
How you feeling?
Yeah, you want to come up front?
You want to jump in? We'll do your segment now? Or do you want to watch more? You have to decide.
Don't be.
Okay, come on. We'll get you done so you can take off if you want. Are they really? The whole side? You know, at Lodgies and they always froze it.
Right. Ours is frozen, pinball in, put the marinade on it, then vacuum sealed.
Really good. But you don't put it.
Well,
I understand, but that's
it's not kazu style.
no. Kasu is sediment. Sake is sake. Sediment from brewing.
Right.
It's a white chocolate. That's the
Thank you very much, Tom.
pleasure, man.
Thank you
for coming.
Nice meeting you.
Nice
That was
meeting you.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good luck.
What'd you guys think of those pieces of fish?
Now, were you guys expecting
Really good? Yeah. Yeah.
No, we fish
Sean will video
primarily
you.
the bearings.
We're gonna do a quick.
We're gonna do a quick video for our friends at Alaskan National Seafood Month.
Everyone,
And it's-
there's kind of a code of fishing and not, going over someone's ground. And it's a big bearing season.
And do you want to on mic? Have we been doing them on mic?
Yes, and
Okay.
They put up a little, they put on Facebook, Terry's done it, you've done it,
Okay.
you did it last week.
Yeah.
and-
This isn't in the segment.
No.
Perfect.
Hey everyone, I often get asked what's the biggest mistake people make at home when trying to cook fish? And the number one thing I will tell you is don't overcook it. And so how do you do that? Well, you either know or you need to know. So the easiest way to know for sure is to get a meat thermometer, a digital meat thermometer. Fish cooks really quickly, and use it, right? Just be aware of what the center of that fillet is doing, 120 degrees, and you want to pull that fish. It'll rest to 125, give it 2 minutes to rest, and you have perfect fillets every time. So don't mess it up. A digital thermometer is $10. Get one. Make yourself a better seafood chef.
Awesome.
Right.
That's perfect. Yep. All right. Mike, and the really getting close.
So we're going to jump around the show a little bit since Gabriel is here and do his segment real quick, just FYI. It's Encanto. It's Encanto.
Encanto.
Sorry.
El Encanto.
I have it right here.
No, that's the El Encanto. Yeah, that's me in the picture.
Where? This?
The kid. Yeah,
No, the kid.
yeah.
Okay. This little guy here.
Yeah, family pictures.
You can see it in the eyes right now.
That's so sweet.
Was we used to have like my family used to have like a cat, lots of cattle. That was one of those days at work. All the cowboys
Taking a break, or
taking a break from
Yeah.
branding and vaccinating and everything.
is that your father playing the guitar, or is that your father standing there
No, that's my ankle.
yelling at you?
Your uncle, yeah.
Go rustle a cow.
I will
Yeah.
look at that differently now. That's awesome.
That was that was like a whole week, like every day doing that.
Did you get out of school to go do this?
No, that wasn't summertime. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
summer break. Yeah,
Darn it. I always look for things to get me out of school.
Oh,
that was
It
Didn't
might.
we all? That's why we're cooks, Tom.
one of the funny things when I was neutering the animals, and I was with the bucket with the
Uh-huh.
Ross
The
George-
yeah,
yeah.
calling me like running all over around like with the bucket with the
With the little clippers for the
no with
for the
the
testes,
yeah with the oysters.
the oysters.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yeah.
Wrangling.
Yeah,
just gives me the chills to even think about it. It's like, whoa,
Yeah, so it's-
I had to do that one
was
time.
like-
really?
Yeah.
What was the cow mad at you?
Well, my mother grew up in Bothell, and
What's that got to do with the cow being mad?
they
or not?
they had a cattle ranch up
neutered your
there.
mother?
There were no, but they had like 50 cattle up there, right where the UW campus is. And so when we were kids, we came up, and they were like, "Okay, you kids are going to work," and we were like, just
Are you gonna
terrified.
answer my question?
Yeah, we had to stand there with the bucket with the clippers when they tied them down, because they tie both sets of hooves and stretch them out, and then whammo, and you got to be ready to go so they don't go in the dirt.
I knew you were tough, but wow, ski patrol. Now this.
Well, yeah, I would be angry. That would hurt. Do they bleed a lot?
No, it's not too bad. Some do,
For you, maybe.
but
yeah, I remember this.
You guys are
They
mean.
ca-
I would
you know-
never do that.
Tom, they cauterize it.
Oh, do they?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
cauterize it right afterward. There's a bit of noise.
Before there was salt.
Oh,
Yeah.
Loretta's gonna find out about this today, as a matter of fact. So.
That's funny.
we're not on the radio.
No, we're-
No.
we are on YouTube, though. We are on YouTube. Yeah, I took care of it with Dr. Snip
Or you could do this.
over at the U district, U Village. Dr. Snip. That's his name? Name of his business?
TMI.
Thank you, Becky.
I can't focus now.
Sorry about that conversation here.
Awesome.
All right, here we go.
After this, let's do Linda too, so she can get out of here.
Perfect.
Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society. Chef Brigitte is sitting
Hi.
in for Chef Terry,
I
who's
know.
on leave. We're happy he's doing well. We have Gabriel Chavez here from El Encanto.
Thank you for
How
having me.
about that? Yeah, tell us about El Encanto, and you're working with a really good friend of mine, Randy Quarry over there, and who has Cantonetta in the Wallingford area and
Bellevue.
Bellevue. Yeah.
Yes.
And isn't there one more?
Como.
Como, yeah.
Como.
We are in the same location, the El Encanto.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So El Encanto's under, and then
Okay.
Como is upstairs.
All
Yeah.
right.
It's such a beautiful restaurant.
So
It's
you
right
know
on
this
Lake
area,
Washington.
right?
Yeah, Gabrielle and I sat down, and it was just a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
view, right on Caroline Point in Kirkland. It's gorgeous and delicious food.
And delicious food.
Yep. And one thing that kind of blew my mind, I know I want to hear about you, but I want to talk about is you had said, I said, how'd you get into Italian cooking? And you said, well, Italian and Mexican cooking are so similar. And that blew my mind. I didn't know
that's
that.
so
And
true.
Can you share what that means?
Yeah, that means like Mexican food is like we use a lot of vegetables, like seasonal stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so simple things like 3, 4, or 5 things together and taste good. Like you're talking about earlier about the tortillas. When you got a good tortilla, you can put anything in the
Yeah.
tortilla and it's delicious.
Uh,
Yeah, any type, like a salsa or a piece of meat, or you don't need much.
uh-huh.
The short
Cheese.
rib, your short rib
Right.
tortillas at El Encanto are
Yeah,
so
and
good.
It's,
Okay.
yeah, and it's as the Italians say, cucina povera.
Mhm.
The poor man's
Mhm.
cuisine,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
because that's the foundation of Italian cooking.
Yeah, like when I grew up, like we don't never have like canned food or processed food because that was expensive. What my mom used to put together was something they go to the market and pick fresh seasonal stuff was accessible, and she come home 20 minutes and she has a meal for me and my siblings. So,
What would be a typical home cooked meal in your house?
well, it was,
What would it include?
they include pasta.
Pasta?
Yeah, pasta.
Really?
Yeah, with tomato. Yeah, beans, potatoes, and cheese. And only the weekends we have meat. So, like pork or beef. Yeah, and fish was a little more because we are from inland. We are far away
Okay.
from the seafood. Was no. We have more like catfish or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Freshwater.
Where in Mexico are you from?
I'm from Durango.
Durango.
Yeah, it's like the heart. They call it the heart of the Mexico.
So you're from cattle country.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
You know that state is was famous for Western movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
Yeah,
and I gotta say, I've been up that way. The best steaks I've ever had in my entire life.
We're in Durango.
Oh,
in
man.
the north. Yeah, one of the things when I'm focused on buying meat for the is in the grass feed. They remind me I want to bring those flavors back
Uh-huh.
here. Yeah,
And it's so
And-
much
and-
healthier.
Mhm.
Yeah. the
yeah,
omega-3s
and
and-
sage
Mhm.
and the scrub, and so all
Mhm.
those herbs came through in the meat, and it was just
Yeah.
mind blowing.
oregano is one of the herbs like they grow in the hills, and oregano, yeah, something unforgettable. I have the oregano when we went hunting for the deer, and my aunt fixed this deer, and we brought some oregano, and the oregano and the deer was unforgettable.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
A
the
combination,
flavors.
huh?
Yeah,
You know, they say
amazing.
that about Western France too. All the
Mhm.
lambs that eat the salty oregano that or wild thyme that grows in Western France.
Yeah,
that they
it's
taste
amazing.
Mhm.
Will you
fragrant.
share your story when you came here in 1999?
Yeah, so when I moved to Seattle in 1999, my mom was here. She feels alone, so she needs. I was the older,
Mhm.
and I was Monterrey, Mexico, the heat, and then
Lovely.
yeah, and then I was working, and my mom was, I feel alone. Like, you want to come and visit me? And yeah, so I was here. I fell in love with the city.
Oh,
So new, rainy. Coming
It's a
from
lot like the Baja Peninsula,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it was like almost 100 degrees or more every day, like really hot.
Wow.
And then I landed here in Seattle. And that was one of the times it was 3 months straight with rain. And I was like, and
How was your English?
my English poor. You know, I used to get lost in the metro buses because
You couldn't
Yeah,
read the signs.
I cannot say, yeah. I used to take it's express, and I pull the thing, and like the express goes all the way. Like everybody look at me like,
right.
yeah, and yeah. So I was start working the mechanic. That wasn't that good for me, and I have the opportunity to work like a dishwasher,
Mhm.
and I started working a dishwasher with Renee.
Renee
Erickson.
oh,
Yes.
Renee
Yeah.
Erickson
At the boathouse?
Wow.
Yeah, I remember Brita. She used to work here that time, and so slowly I started getting into
Cooking.
the cooking and also learning English, like washing dishes in the pre-compartment sink, and then with my Wallman, listen to the game every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Neil House,
Berlitz.
like yeah. So washing dishes and listen to the baseball every
Just
day.
like me, you know, I had a TV in my kitchen and I had the radio on, and I would listen to the Mariners game every night when I was cooking.
And that's how I teach my ear to understand first. And
Ah.
then later I start practicing, go to a bar, sit on the bar, and people have the patience to listen to me speaking. So,
So tell us before we run out of time about El Encanto. What's your specialty there?
well, the Encanto, you know, when I make the menu for Encanto, I try to bring those memories back. So all the food is unforgettable for me. So when I bring it and share it, and the size of the restaurant is a little bit more harder because I need to teach the people around me because the restaurant is bigger and I can do everything by myself.
Mhm.
So still in the process and trying to bring those memories. Like
Did your mom come in and help?
my mom, actually my mom's helped me there. She cooked 2 dishes from the restaurant. Yeah,
Oh,
and she's
So
every day.
family
Yeah.
generational recipes. It
Yeah.
comes through as a guest. It
Mhm.
really
No,
shines.
she helps me. Like she only make those 2 dishes every day.
Every day.
And nobody else. I told her I want to teach somebody to do it. Like no, I got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
She likes to feel
Like, no. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
this is at Carillon Point.
Carillon Point in Kirkland,
And
Washington.
you've been there.
I've been there
and
plenty of
do you need
times.
reservations or is it walk-in?
It's pretty packed.
It's been packed. Yeah.
Lunchtime's
with
open.
Les, yeah.
Okay.
And
So maybe first time go for lunch and discover what you want to to do for dinner.
Exactly.
Where
Yeah.
is it? There at the Waters Hotel or whatever?
Right
the
next to
Woodmarks
Woodmark
Hotel.
Hotel.
At the Woodmark. That's right. So right
Amazing-
around the corner, you're facing
Correct.
the
Amazing
water.
tequila too.
Yeah, my
Great
friend
drink.
Ted owns Le Grand Bistro
Mhm.
across the
Ted
way there.
First.
Yes.
Ted and I worked together at Cafe Sport in
Yeah.
1984. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy? Well, thank you for coming in and sitting through that first hour. We appreciate you and can't wait to get over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Becky has promised she's buying me dinner there.
Uh-huh.
Well, wait.
And she
what's up?
said, no, you're working that night. You're working that night.
I can only afford one.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Jackie can come too.
Oh, one of those days, come back here and cook for you guys.
Oh, we can have you do a class.
Yeah,
Yeah, why
I've-
not?
I've
A
been
hot
here.
stove class. That'd be great. Have your mom come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
awesome.
awesome.
I've been here once, like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did a class here.
All right,
Yeah.
Gabriel Chavez has been our guest, and we look forward to visiting your restaurant.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Encanto. So up next, we're going to talk a little bit about the James Beard event here happening in downtown Seattle on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
We're gonna go Linda first, right?
Yeah, but I have to do the out for the.
Gotcha.
You want to get a photo?
Yeah, can I
Come up
get-
and
Linda,
let's get
you're
a
up.
photo.
I kept worried about Gabriel sitting here and forgot you were sitting there. Make me look pretty. Thank you, man. Nice to see you. Have you found the house yet?
Yes.
All right. A little cheaper than Seattle?
Yes. A lot.
A lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Linda, either you have to pull up or you can bring the mic to you, but you got to be right into it.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay.
How's our breakfast going?
It's ready. Can I plate it?
Yeah, why don't you go plate and I'll talk with Linda. I'm sorry she's trying to starve you to death out there. Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, hour number 2. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead. Let's do that again. Becky was so
I'm sure.
tentative on
I know.
clapping. I love paparazzi, so we only have a few short minutes with Linda here, so let's jump right in. Linda Nageotte, who's been the executive director of Food Lifeline for the last 25 years.
That deserves
That's
a clap. too.
25
Amazing.
years. Yes, thank you. Serving our community, serving the people most in need in our community, and doing it with grace and aplomb that a few others have.
And weren't you on the board for many years?
For a few years till Linda booted me. Exactly. So, Linda, tell us about how you came to be here at Food Lifeline. I know the inside story because I was there when you were hired. But
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a long
Tell us
time
where
ago.
you're going. What's up with Food Lifeline, and where you're heading off to.
Sure, absolutely. So I joined Food Lifeline in 1998. I had been here in Seattle working for 4.5 years for another local nonprofit hunger relief organization. Today it's called Harvest Against Hunger. And my job there was to work with farmers and to go out and to source surplus produce that they had grown that they couldn't find a home for. It was
Produce
often-
for the people.
Produce for the people. That was
Yeah.
a great program that we started. Charlie's Produce was our very first donor to that program. And it enabled us to really introduce produce into the food banking system, which previously had really been focused on canned goods and shelf stable food. And I'm really proud to say that 25 years later, where shelf stable food had been like 85% of what we were distributing today, the vast majority of what we distribute is fresh, wholesome foods, produce, dairy, eggs, proteins. A lot of folks don't understand that the food bank system is really operated more like community grocery stores where folks can go in and shop.
It really is, and it's such a much more human place
That's
to
right.
be than
Than
just
the-
lining up for canned goods with a brown paper bag. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And Charlie's is why you're here today. Every week we do a little segment with them, and they
Yeah.
were so proud to have worked with you over the years. And so impressed with the effort that you've put in and the team you've created. And Food Lifeline is now set up for the next 25 years
That's right.
with the buildings that we've built. And Charlie is a big part of that. And people don't really, they see his trucks, but they don't really know the story about Charlie in that way. And you do. And so that's awesome. And they know your story. And they were so proud to think of having you on the show today to talk about it, because you're moving off into the next level of food procurement, and I'm hesitant to call it food banking because it's not a term we use anymore in a funny way. But tell us about your next adventure.
You bet. So I've been leading Food Lifeline for 25 years. And if you don't know what Food Lifeline is, we're the largest hunger relief organization in Washington State. We focus our food sourcing and distribution here in Western Washington, every year distributing more than 75 million pounds of food to a network of over 400 different local food banks, meal programs, and food distribution points. And last year, feeding more than 1 million of our neighbors here in Western Washington who are food insecure, meaning they're not sure of how they'll get the next meal on the table. Food Lifeline is a really proud member of a national network of 200 similar organizations, and that network is called Feeding America. It's headquartered in Chicago, and I have the great opportunity to step into the role of president and chief operating officer there.
Wow, lucky them.
So my last day at Food Lifeline is tomorrow, which
Oh,
is
my goodness.
crazy, and my first day there at Feeding America will be November 6th.
November 6th. And you're moving to Chicago.
Moving to Chicago, leave
and-
on Sunday.
And it is getting a U-Haul. What are you doing?
Oh, the moving truck has already come and gone. In fact,
Oh,
my
is
wife
it?
Nancy
Yeah.
was in Chicago yesterday to meet the movers and unload
Awesome.
the stuff into our new house. And we're jumping into her pickup truck with our old dog Cooper on Sunday and driving
Really?
across the country. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's so awesome. Congratulations on that
you.
too.
Thank
That's amazing. My folks grew up in Chicago, so there's some history there. I was the chef at Marshall Field in Chicago
Oh
for
my
quite a while
gosh, I didn't know
until
that.
Macy's bought that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have a lot of roots there in that area. When I was last on the board, I want to say the pounds of food we were distributing was around 28 to 30 million. And the idea that you're doing 75 million pounds a year now, I mean, it just gives you an idea of the effort that Food Lifeline's putting in. One of the things I still sometimes feel that Food Lifeline doesn't get the credit for is that you're a first responder organization, right?
We are.
If we have an earthquake here, you're on the money.
That's
It's
absolutely
your
right.
time.
You bet. You
Yeah.
bet. Our job is to make sure that our community has access to wholesome and nutritious food every day, regardless of what the circumstances are.
Right.
So when the pandemic hit, for example, within
Yeah.
a week, we had mobilized a second warehouse. We had 200 National Guards persons who were working in that warehouse, building 70,000 emergency food boxes a week.
Yeah.
So our job is to be super responsive and to have all of the plans and the readiness in place so that we can spring into action when needed.
Right. You're also really good at Food Lifeline about sourcing food for the neighbors that you're trying to feed,
You bet.
so that you're aware that lots of cultures have lots of different needs when it comes to the dinner
Absolutely.
table.
You bet. Yeah, we're really, really focused on a couple of categories of food right now. We call it highly desired foods, grains, produce, dairy, and eggs. Those are the 4 categories of foods that all of the cultures, all of the organizations that we serve say that they need more of. We're also really focused on culturally relevant foods, foods that are familiar to folks, that are meaningful to them from their cultural, from their religious backgrounds. We want the experience when someone goes to their local food bank or meal program to be one that's full of dignity, that affirms their humanity,
Mhm.
that enables them to celebrate food in the way that is familiar to them. Everyone deserves the right to eat, and we
Right.
want to make sure that that circumstance is full of that dignity and humanity for all of our neighbors.
Another path we were going down when I was just leaving the board was trying to get food as a prescription.
Sure.
Like if you're a diabetic, sometimes it's not really a doctor's pill that can help. Sometimes it's food, the right diet, and that you're aware of. Food Lifeline is aware of what that need is.
You bet. We partner with a lot of healthcare organizations. Food is medicine,
Food is
right?
medicine.
Right.
Congress, in fact, recently passed legislation that allows Medicare to cover the cost of medically tailored meals or foods to folks in need of food assistance.
Uh-huh.
So it's great.
So going back to Feeding America, your next project, I have no doubt you're going to do great things. Are you going to be in those commercials? You know, that lady was in the commercials on the Super Bowl, I want to say. Are you going to be on
I
our
don't know.
television sets?
I don't know if I'll be on a commercial or not, but I'm going to be doing everything that I can to make
Yeah.
sure that folks across the country have access to the food they need.
Right.
And more importantly, I really want to make sure that folks understand food is really important for today to make sure that our neighbors have access to food. But the way that we end hunger is by enacting legislative change,
Mhm.
policy change. If we want to solve hunger for the future, we have to address issues like affordable housing and access to health care and all of the things that cause people to experience poverty in the first place. So we're going to be working on that really hard too.
Right. That's awesome. And so it's much needed.
Much needed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for coming. Congratulations. We're
Thank
going to
you.
miss you terribly.
I'll miss y'all back.
Everyone send a check to Food Lifeline
Yes, please.
so that we can get rid of Linda properly with a full bank account at the Food Lifeline.
That sounds great.
Because, you know, Food Lifeline can do so much more with $1 than what we can do that it's better to send them cash
Very
if
impressive.
possible.
Yep.
Yeah. So, all right. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you for having me.
Up next, it's Gabriel Chavez from Encanto restaurant in
Kirkland, Washington.
coming up next. Sean, can you fix this for me again, please? I'm just struggling today. Coming up next, Gabriel Chavez from El Encanto in Kirkland, Washington on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show 97.3 FM. Thank you. There's breakfast if you want. There's even vegetarian. There's charred and
Aw.
oh no, do you eat eggs?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a little Spanish tortilla too. You betcha. You're gonna get a visit from me
Oh,
in
here.
Chi-Town. Hopefully you don't discover the chai rack part. All right.
Thanks for having me.
All right. See you later. No. Unless they're in the first hour. Segment 4 of the first hour. Grace Lin. We'll finish that up.
Yep.
Brigitte, did you hear that? Never heard that before. Okay, Sean, you ready to go? Get caught up here. We're so excited to have Grace Lin back on the show. She has the new book called Chinese Menu. I had an opportunity to sit down with her a few weeks back. This is episode number 5. If you've missed the opening episodes, just go back and podcast our show and you can listen to her every time. After you hear her, you're going to understand why you're going to want to. So let's listen in to my interview. Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society Show on Cairo Radio. We're so thrilled that you're joining us. We're continuing our series on a new book called Chinese Menu, The History, Myths, and Legends Behind Your Favorite Chinese Foods. It's been written by Grace Lin. We've heard about soup and dumplings and whether it's appetizers or main course or you eat everything all at the same time. We've heard about what's the deal with tea and the importance of tea on the Chinese menu and why it's on every Chinese table. And so let's jump this week into the history, myth, and legend of rice. Because as you have said in previous weeks, rice is kind of the main, everything else is kind of the side dish that goes on top of it or with it, I'll say. So let's talk about rice. How did it become so important in Chinese food?
Oh, it's
And
extremely
more than Chinese food, right? You know,
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's extremely important. In fact, if you look at the etymology of rice, the Chinese symbol for rice, if you look at it, it actually contains the character for spirit in it, the Chinese character qi. So it kind of shows how important rice is to Chinese culture, that they feel that rice contains their spirit. So that just shows like how much they consider rice as very important to them. The story of rice is that at one point in ancient China, in the beginnings of the world, there was no grains on earth, but there were grains in the heavens. And at this time, when the world was still forming, the dog had 9 tails. And all the people were starving because they could only eat what was kind of like thorns or things that were growing wildly. They couldn't grow their own food. So the dog felt bad for them. And so he ran up to the heavens and he dipped his tails, his 9 tails, into all the different kinds of seeds they had up in the heavens. And then he was going to bring them back down to the earth to give to the people so they could feed themselves. But on his way back, a heavenly guard saw him and wanted to stop him. And so he slashed at the dog and he cut off the dog's tail, all of them except for one. The dog was able to keep one tail, landed on earth, and that one tail still had some seeds on it. And the seeds that he had on that tail were rice seeds. And so that was considered the first grains on earth, according to this Chinese legend, rice. And that's why it's so important to them.
Wow, these poor Chinese children listening about the dog's tails getting cut off.
I know.
Freak you out a little bit.
Well, that's why the dog has one tail now. He's
Exactly. There's a happy ending to that story. Do you have a happy life if you eat rice every day? That's one of the things that is legend in the book.
Yeah, well, it's considered one of the necessities of life. So I think it's, you know what is interesting? Rice is considered a necessity of life, but noodles, because I know we mentioned that earlier, noodles is considered what gives you a long life. So you eat noodles at your birthday, you eat it at Lunar New Year, and you always want to eat the longest noodles because the longer the noodle, the longer your life.
I had heard that always as kind of a myth, but it's true, you're saying.
Well, it's a myth that a lot of people believe.
Yeah, own it, Grace, own it. Okay, rice. So we've heard how it came to be, but it presents itself in so many ways on the Chinese table, whether it's rice noodles or fried rice or sizzling rice soup or rice cakes. It has been morphed into so many dishes. What are some of your favorites?
Oh, well, I love rice in all forms, but the one that I put in the book was about rice cakes, a special rice cake that we have at Lunar New Year. And this rice cake we don't usually serve at a Chinese restaurant, but I love this story so much, and it's also my favorite. I had to put it in. So the story goes that a long time in ancient China, they had excess of rice, like a great harvest one year. And they were trying to figure out what to do with this extra rice. And some advisors told the emperor they should sell it to get weapons. Some people said that they should trade it for, gold, all these different things. But the minister who was given the right to do the task of what to do with the rice decided instead to take all this excess rice and make them into rice cakes, rice bricks. So he made them kind of like mochi. So I know when I say rice cakes, sometimes people think it's like the round rice cakes in the grocery store, but more like mochi rice cakes. And he made them into these bricks, and he actually placed these brick rice cakes inside the wall of the city. And he told, if there's ever a time of famine, that remember, there's rice cakes in this wall. And of course, years and years pass by, and of course, a time of famine does come. And everybody's like, oh, there's nothing to eat. There's nothing to eat. And then somebody says, do you remember when that minister said there are rice cakes in this wall and there are bricks of rice? And they open the wall and then they find the bricks of rice, and it saves the city so that they can eat these rice cakes. And I just think that's such a cool story. And I love that story so much.
Well,
so that's why I like rice cakes.
Yeah, it's what makes your book so good is that you not only can talk about real rice cakes, but you talk about the history, myth, and legends of where some of these dishes came from. My favorite rice cakes are really a rice flour cake mixed with daikon radish called lobako on a dim sum menu.
Oh, those are great.
And I just love those. But I always want them hard seared more. Typically, they have green onion, maybe some dried shrimp, maybe a little char siu, or a little bits of this and that in them. But they're one of my favorite things on a dim sum menu. The other thing that I love on dim sum menus is nor my guy, the sticky rice with the
Yeah.
lopchong sausage in the middle, and it's wrapped in a lotus leaf and steamed. Oh, so delicious. And
So good. It smells so good
many,
too.
Yeah, I know. It comes in so many forms. And it's exotic, unwrapping the lotus leaf. And,
Yeah.
tell us about fried rice, because when I sit at the counter, there's an old Seattle Chinese restaurant, the oldest one in Seattle. It's called Taitung, and Harry Chan is the owner there. And I sit at the counter and I watch person after person after person walk in for to-go orders for shrimp fried rice, chicken fried rice, pork fried rice. It's like, it's the easiest thing to make, and it's also the number one seller at a Chinese restaurant, it seems like to me. So how did fried rice, I mean, I know it's leftover rice, but how did it become so popular?
Well, it's so funny because I looked to find a really interesting story about fried rice, but there's not really an interesting story. The story is it was just a way that housewives used to use the leftover food. They just wanted the creative way to use the leftover food. They just chopped it all up and fried it with the rice, and it became really popular that way. So it's one of those things that makes so much common sense that just we still love to this day.
Oh, absolutely. And it's just a refrigerator cleaner for me, is I'll just go into the, we actually, of course, as many people do, make rice for fried rice instead of trying to always have leftover rice. But, whether you're talking real Asian ingredients like lopchong or taiku or whatever it is, of daikon radish, zucchini bits, whatever you want to put in there, it is just a fabulous way to clean out your refrigerator. Just like I do for American food, like mac and cheese. I just use every cheese end that I have and make my mac and cheese out of like 6 different cheeses.
Yeah, well, traditionally, the best way to make fried rice is to use old rice. You're not supposed to use new rice. Old rice is supposed to make better fried rice for some reason.
Well, it's drier. I get it because the grains stay a little bit more separate, and I understand it, but I just don't plan ahead that far, I guess. Well, it's been so fun to continue our conversation about your new book called Chinese Menu: The History, Myths, and Legends Behind Your Favorite Chinese Foods. The book is by Grace Lin, who we've been chatting with. And we have a couple of more segments that we're going to ask her to stick with us on over the next couple of weeks. Next week's being the history, myth, and legend of mains, the main course, and eating with your ears, as we continue our show here at the Hot Stove Society, 97.3 FM. She awesome? I love the expressions on her face when she's lighting up thinking about the story. Okay. Yeah. Yep. All right. There you go. Okay, I'll do that. Let's get it on tape. Where is she?
Second page.
Segment 4, hour 1, right? Yeah. Coming up next, Linda Nageotte from Food Lifeline is going to join us at the bequest of Charlie's Produce, cultivating fresh every week right here on the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Sometimes we have to jump around and it gets all confusing.
Yeah.
Brigitte, they said breakfast was tasty.
Oh, beautiful. Sat for a little bit.
Those muffins
but,
were done.
You like them that golden color, don't you?
Golden, yes.
What do they call? What's the
They
French
call those
term for
briquettes.
that? They were not.
Golden briquette.
You got one from the side. The first pan was fine.
That was funny. Couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, a little running around.
Yeah, it's not often you have to do the show and cook breakfast.
I know.
That's impressive.
And
yeah, my nickname is the human hurricane.
Is it?
Yeah. Cat calls me that.
Check.
Sound okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
Nice and close.
There's some gifts up there for you, Tom. Ammunition on the right and aiming oil on the right.
Oh, ammunition. I'm playing today.
Or are you playing today at home?
Oh, nice.
Broadmoor?
Seattle Golf Club.
Nice.
Tito's is your sponsor this year.
They're one of them. Yeah.
It is astonishing how much Tito's we sell.
I don't know what do they do? I mean, they get in there and they just make relationships, right?
I don't know what it is,
And
but
they're
it
not that
sells
old, right?
like, no, it's not all that old.
Yeah.
And it's not super expensive. It's not like Grey Goose or any pricey
Right.
high end.
Yeah.
But so many people call Tito's.
Just became popular.
You don't have to plug them.
You know, they got sued for the handmade Tito's handmade vodkas because, of course, it's not handmade, and they Tito's won.
As they should.
Yeah.
Austin, Texas.
We visited a vodka place up here once. A summer camp. I don't remember who
Yeah.
it was.
Up on Capitol Hill,
Yeah.
Ula
Ula, yes,
Distillery.
yes, that's right.
Ooh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Ula.
Ula.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Time for Dick Stevens and the James Beard Taste of America Seattle version. I hear on Cairo Radio. We tend to do this every year. And welcome back to the show, Dick.
Tom, it's always a pleasure. You guys are so good to us. I think this is like the 7th or 8th time. You guys have been more than generous.
Good. I'm glad you. Usually you come on and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's already sold out." But this year there's a couple of tickets available.
There are some tickets. We've grown the event.
Uh-huh.
So we've expanded it. So we still have tickets for sale.
Good.
So I hope the listeners, and I know there's going to be some lucky people here that are going to walk away with a pair of tickets somehow.
Maybe not just here. This is open to the whole.
Well, it's open to the whole nation of you two. Yeah,
That's right.
I like that. That's even
we have
cooler.
worldwide listenership.
That's right. Well, we'll have to fly them in here.
November 1st.
November 1st is
1st
the
is the event.
date.
That's
It's
right.
$150. Let's get some of the details out of the way, and then
Yeah.
we'll talk about who's going to be cooking there.
Well, we have an amazing slate of chefs. I'll back up and just the Taste America Seattle, presented by Capital One, is one of 20 cities across the country that are making up Taste America. And when we first started this, when you were the first star chef
Mhm.
back 10 years ago,
Before my star faded.
you know what's funny is sometimes people get me confused for you when I travel around, and I said, no problem. Yeah.
You'd have to put on like 100 pounds. That's the problem.
I'm there. Don't worry about it. The what's happened with this event is it's grown by 10 more cities. And through the pandemic, we had to pivot like everybody did. And we allowed more cities into the Taste America series. But what's really cool, and this deserves a round of applause for the entire culinary community in this town. Seattle's one of the only cities that has been in the mix 9 out of the 10 years.
Oh,
Nice.
that's
when you
great.
think about really important towns like Austin, Texas, or Miami, or
San Francisco.
they're not always in the mix, but they keep putting us on the list. And
So what makes us so special?
I think it's two things. One is we have such a bounty of stuff here. I mean, when we do these, well, we'll talk about the chefs in a second. Tom knows this. We really want for nothing. So when we do Taste Seattle, it's a reflection of our meats and our greens and our fish and our grains. And then you start looking at our wines and our spirits. We have everything we need here. So when we're showing this off, it is a reflection of Seattle first, Puget Sound second, Northwest third. Even like I'm doing an event in Kansas City, which is going to be lovely. You know, they don't have everything in Kansas City. We have everything here.
Mhm.
And then the following of foodies here, I think we were foodies before the word foodie was foodie. And hyper local and support your community. And the rain, I think, makes people focus more on the restaurant culture and the food and drink culture. So I think that's why we get it every year. And I think we've done a really good job with the event too. It's always sold out. We have a great selection of folks. It's fun, but the message is clear about what we're trying to do.
And what does the event benefit?
All of the money that's proceeds goes right to work for the James Beard Foundation's missions. This is not money that you would see wind up on the red carpet at the awards. They're doing things every day. They're even before Congress and before the White House with initiatives. So this is going for sustainability and full use of food and supporting females in the workplace and helping chefs and restaurants get back on their feet. There were millions of dollars that were raised during the pandemic. They were just grants that were given out to put people back in business. That's where this money goes. It goes back to work.
Do you know what's the number on the grants that you guys? I know you guys do a ton of education. What is it?
It was well into the millions. I can't quote the numbers. I wasn't involved in that. I was helping point people that direction, but it was not an insignificant amount of money. It was definitely a seven-figure number.
That's tremendous.
And I'm proud to say that all of us that pull the rope were a part of that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the chefs you got coming this year to cook at the event, and it's at the Four Seasons. Is that right?
That's another kind of a cool part. You know, actually, the model is to move this around, keep going different event. And what Seattle is a walk around grand tasting. 16 of the cities are seated dinners for 100, 150 people. This is a full-blown walk around production. And we got to go back to the Four Seasons because it was such a big success. So we're excited to do that again. But we always have a new slate of chefs. Our host chefs are different than our Taste 20 chefs. And then we have star chefs. So the host chefs, again, are the guys there at the Four Seasons, which are Brian Doherty, Ethan Stoll, and Daniel Grogan. They'll have a really cool showing. They always do something fun, and they do want to show that Four Seasons culinary bent, so to speak. They do a great job with that. Our Taste 20 chefs is kind of cool. Those are our traveling all-stars. So what that means is we bring in one out-of-town all-star, and then we send our all-star to another market. So our local Taste 20 chef this year is Melissa Miranda, who's just a punk rock
Nice.
star,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
She's in a conversation of maybe 50 chefs in the country right now. She's such an interesting chef and a giving person. And I'm taking her with me to Kansas City. She'll be the out-of-town all-star for Kansas City Taste America.
Oh,
Our inbound local is a guy that has been on the James Beard nominee list and making a big way for himself. And that's Ayu Balogan from Department of Culture, New York City, Brooklyn, to be specific. So he's coming in, and those guys are going to be our Taste 20 all-stars. And then the other chefs that we have is just a really cool new list of folks. We got Blanca Rodriguez from Pimenta Bistro and Bar, Janet Becerra from Pancita, Karma Lee from Bobe Coffee and Tea, Aaron Versosa, who's been an all-star in the past. He's coming back to do it again. Was a James Beard national finalist this year, almost won the award himself. Paulo Campbell and Donald Adams from Chicken Supply, Victor Steinbrook, total rock star from Local Tide, and then kind of bringing up the back, but not the back, just alphabetically, Trey Lamont from Jerk Shack, and then Yen V. Kin and V. Pham from Faux Bach, who've just made a huge splash. So those are our stars. We've actually added 2 more, and then we're going to have 30 stations of walk around. There'll be some other guest chefs that are coming in through some of our partners, like Mary Hill and a couple of the other groups, like Cisco is bringing in a James Beard winner from Portland. And then we'll have an incredible selection of wines and cocktails, coffees, teas,
sounds awesome.
waters. It's a full 2-hour deal for the 150 guys, and then for $200 they get to come in for 3 hours.
So it's 2 hours for 150, 3
That's right.
hours for 200.
That's right. And at the 2 hours is ish. You wouldn't believe how hard it is for me to sweep out all these Bruno Malleys and Louboutin wearing people at 9 o'clock. It's probably more like 9:27 to brush them all out of there.
Well, we have some exciting news.
Please.
Yes, Dick has offered up one lucky winner
Yes.
will win 2 tickets, $300 value. So all you have to do to get that is to write in a story or email us telling us a story about your favorite local independent restaurant.
That's perfect.
Oh,
And
that's
Tom will
great.
be reading through those, and you can email Hot Stove Society.
.com. Yeah.
Uh,
Or
oh,
no.
Oh, Hot Stove Radio at Tom Douglas.
At Tom Douglas.
Douglas.com.
Hot Stove Radio
At
At
Tom.
TomDouglas.com. You know
Your
what?
story, and it's important that it's a local restaurant. I don't want to talk about Olive Gardens
course.
and Red Lobsters. I want to talk about like people like Gabriel Chavez, who we have on our show today. Doing amazing things from his childhood.
Right.
So we need that submission no later than noon Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday, October 18th, please.
Perfect.
That'll give us time to.
Let's bump that up to VIP.
Wow.
Wow.
Tom is a winner. Terry is a winner. Those guys have been always there for us. Let's move this to a 2 VIP tickets.
2 VIPs. That's
Okay,
awesome.
let's do that.
Well, if we want to get that about it, then let's do that, and let's have an overnight stay here at the Hotel Andra.
Are you
Oh
kidding me?
my
Why not,
goodness.
huh?
Wow.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
How come I don't see everybody typing on their telephone back here?
No, that
very
way
generous.
there's nobody driving and drinking. They can stay downtown and
I love it.
stay at the
How fun.
Andra.
That's
Oh
and
my gosh,
awesome.
that's so
catch a
amazing.
quick Uber from the Four Seasons to
There you
here,
go, or walk it off.
Your
Yeah.
choice. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
let the folks in New York City know about the generosity. That's
Oh.
fantastic.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So again, Becky, tell us what they have to do to win this. So it's 2 VIP tickets to the event, and it's
Yep.
November 1st.
November 1st, it's a Wednesday night, 6
Okay.
o'clock, Four Seasons, Seattle.
An overnight stay at the Hotel Andra, which is
Right.
beautiful.
Right.
Amazing.
And all you have to do is email us a story about your favorite local independent restaurant.
And actually make it someplace you've been. I mean, be honest about
Yeah.
it. Make it someplace you've been. And I'm going to take my restaurants out of the mix unless they insist, because
No buttering up the
no
toast.
buttering up
no.
the judge.
Nice.
But I'm always happy to hear when people have, one of the great things about opening the Palace Kitchen again was all the stories that people had from having their birthdays and their anniversaries and
Yeah.
for years and years and years. And so it's also when we closed the Dahlia, what people said they're going to miss the most
Right.
is
The anniveries.
yeah,
and- yeah.
birthdays,
Yep.
funerals, and my favorite is when people got married with us and now also had their divorce parties with us.
Not at the same time.
That's awesome.
You know what's
A
interesting
few years apart.
is when I get to go out and about in other cities, and I'm not buttering up. I'm being truthful. I mean, Tom and Terry are synonymous with James Beard. What those
Right.
guys winning this award in the early days. When I'm in another market talking about the foundation, those guys' names come up with this town. So these guys have been standard bearers. They have. And Terry
That's
is the funnest guy in the world to do the awards with. I've done it with him 3 times, and
Oh my
there's
God,
always
when-
something interesting.
Yeah, give him a couple of glasses of Burgundy
Oh my.
and a DJ, and the
Yeah,
man
and a
is,
mic.
karaoke.
and the man is off.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. Can't wait to get him back here on the show. He's on a little break. Okay, so all the rules, instructions,
Yeah.
October
Hot Stove
the
Radio at tomdouglas.com
right.
by Wednesday, October 18th.
That's right. Absolutely.
All
No,
right.
it's going to be amazing.
Good. Well, looking forward to giving that away. When we come back, it's time for Food for Thought Tasty Trivia brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs and Sauces right here on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show 97.3 FM.
Dick, how do you feel about trivia?
Oh, I'm in. You want me to hang on?
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
I'll hang on. Okay.
Perfect.
By the way, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my mother, Siv, who is she's a Scandinavian gourmet cook. She's still a Norwegian
Really?
citizen. Yeah. She's a
Nice.
Oh.
Ballard dyed-in-the-wool
Nice.
Norwegian chef.
Awesome.
I had to bring her with me today.
That's my mom over there on the stove.
The photo on the stove. Yeah.
Maybe they went to school together.
We have a little Swedish in us. We a Nelson family is in my history.
That was a good little adding on the Hotel Andra. Wonderful.
I think I already gave you
How long is the
rubs.
Beard Foundation?
I think it started in 1986 or 8. They had the first ever awards. And then it kind of just grew from there. Obviously,
That's
Mr.
amazing.
Beard's
Yeah.
been deceased for some time, but it's been kind of cool how he's been brought back into popular culture a little bit with these TV
It's
shows.
so big now.
The
It's
guy that gets to
amazing.
play James Beard in that TV show is probably a pretty cool
Yeah.
angle. Yeah.
Have you read, Tom, have you read his biography?
James Beards?
Yeah. It's interesting.
He's a Northwest guy. He
Yeah.
grew up
Portland.
well, even more so, he's from Gerhardt, Oregon, which is that little right next to Seaside, Oregon, and he just
Yeah.
grew up running through the seaweeds and picking berries and stuff. That's where it started for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
Not sure how much of that lore that I believe, that legend.
Yeah.
He
What do
was
you
in
think?
Portland.
You
He
think
was
he was
in
really running
Northwest.
through
He went to college at Reed College.
Reed, yeah.
You think he was running through the seaweeds?
Probably not running. He probably was rolling. It's not for broadcast, by the way.
Razor clams for sure.
Yeah. No, I mean
Spending
his
a lot of
Northwest
time, yeah.
route was a big deal, right? I mean that's kind of his wild game and all that stuff. But other neat things too, like he was a big part of the Four Seasons concept. Changing the interior, the decor, the plating, everything. He's got some neat stories that brought him into light, and was
Yeah.
a pioneer in a lot of levels.
Yeah.
Four Seasons restaurant.
The restaurant, not the
Yes.
hotel.
Yeah.
yeah. I think them changing the inside was his talking to them and talking him into it. Kind of cool.
Yeah. It was I went in 92 to the James Beard Awards. It was at his house.
Oh, wow.
That's
Kathy
pretty cool.
Kathy Connor had been nominated, and
Wasn't
our
in his
group.
house.
Huh?
You're talking about
Oh,
The James
This is
Beard
the-
House in Greenwich Village.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was where the awards and the
Oh.
dinner and all of that stuff. She was nominated as top pastry chef, and anyway, we sat in his bedroom and had dinner.
Tom, you've cooked in there, haven't you?
You know, I never had, other than I did one gig with the Northwest Airlines chef team
Oh, I remember that.
There.
Oh, did a
So,
dinner.
many moons
The
ago.
kitchen's half the size of this. It's tiny.
Mm.
It's kind of
Down
like
in
going
the
to Yankee
basement.
Stadium when you go in
Yeah.
there, right? It's hallowed grounds, but that he lived there, and they turned it into
The Beard House. Yeah,
the Beard
that's
House.
amazing.
It's a bucket list place to go to.
Yeah.
yeah. They have.
All right. So you ready, set here?
I'm ready.
All right. You're ready,
I'm ready.
Sean? We're going to wrap this thing. And we're back. It's time for
Hey.
Food for Thought Tasty Trivia. Brought to you by Rub with Love Spice Rubs. If you want to be part of the show, no, pardon me. Sean Dettori, you can fix that for me too. Food for Thought Tasty Trivia is brought to you by our very own Rub with Love Spice Rubs and Sauces. It's
Is it me?
it must be you.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, I think it's always Brigitte. When things go sideways, it's
Oh.
always Brigitte.
We need Loretta.
And we're back. It's the Hot Stove Society show. Time for Rub with Love, Food for Thought, Tasty Trivia, brought to you by our very own Rub with Love spice blends and sauces. The turning of the weather to fall is a great time to think about using Rub with Love indoors on things like roast chicken, braised short ribs, roasted veggies, or pulled pork. We have everything you need at Seatown Fish Fry and Rub Shack, or here at the Hot Stove. During your grocery shopping, you can look for Rub with Love at markets like PCC,
Yeah.
Thriftway, Ken's Market, QFC, Met Market, and 5,000 other retailers around the country.
It's amazing
Wow.
where you
We're
find
very
it.
excited about our product line. Becky, do you want to tell us how to play the game and who our contestant is?
You bet. So our contestant is Dick Stevens, which
Are they all James Beard questions?
I hope not.
no.
Okay, good.
And we have Bridget and Tom, and each of you will get 5 questions, and the one who gets the most is the winner.
All right. Here
And
we
Dick,
go.
if you win, you get to offer anybody in our audience the shop for 3 free rubs in our gift shop after the show.
I can't wait to do it.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay,
I have a
gonna start-
feeling that you are the winner. I have a chance.
No.
I have a vibe. I have a vibe. All right.
We're going to start with Bridget so you can see how it goes.
Okay.
All right. Bridget,
Yes.
what is Urfa Biber?
It is a type of spice.
You are right. A Turkish
I
spice.
thought it was puke from a chihuahua.
Tom.
Okay, number 2. Here's some breaking news. Just this week, a Minnesotan man set the world record by growing a 2,700 pound something.
Pumpkin. Sorry.
You nailed it.
I read the newspaper every day.
I was going to trick you out by saying, what is the real name of this type of gigantic fruit?
Well, it's from the Kirkland family.
Oh my goodness. Miss Know-It-All.
She's showing off now.
I know. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Number 3, which fall vegetable is an edible root and a member of the sunflower family?
An edible root. Oh, that is, you want it in Italian or in English? It's Topamburg in Italian, and in English, it's Jerusalem artichoke.
Nailed it.
Wow.
Wow. I'm going to have to do some more studying. Okay.
Sorry.
Your 4th question, true or false, that small gritty texture in some pears are bits called stone cells? 50-50.
50-50. I'm going to go with true.
You are right. It is correct. Okay, let's see if
Fascinating.
I can,
I
let's see
didn't
if I
know
can
that.
stump you here.
Okay.
Yellow brain, devil's tooth, and shaggy mane are all types of what?
Mushrooms.
Oh, you are so smart.
5
Good
for
job.
5. Way to go, Brigitte.
Well done.
Chef
Thank
Carey
you.
would be so proud of you.
I know.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Nice
Okay,
job.
Dick, how
Oh
you
boy,
feeling?
I'm quaking in my Adidas over here. We'll see what happens.
Okay, we'll start with number 1. What ingredient gives traditional Caesar salad its signature umami flavor?
Clearly, the dressing. I
Right.
would-
What's that little thing in the dressing?
Anchovy.
You got it. Well done. Okay, multiple choice. Approximately how many varieties of pears exist worldwide? 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000?
I say 5,000.
You got it. Good job.
Wow.
Might have to have some tie-offs here. What is the term for the process of sautéing mushrooms until they release their moisture and then cooking them until they turn golden brown?
Reduction. I don't know.
Browning or caramelizing is what I was
Almost.
looking for, but
Almost.
you know,
In the
That's close.
process of in the pan.
exactly.
I was in the pan.
All
Isn't there a
right.
technical name for that? Like begins with an M.
The
something-
Maillard
The
reaction?
Maillard
reaction,
reaction
yeah.
or
Yep.
doré is another term to take it to
That's
brown.
a good point. What spice blend is commonly used in Indian cuisine?
Oh, well, that would be curry.
Curry is it's a garam masala. What do you think, Bridget?
Help me, Bridget.
Well, garam masala is a curry.
Yeah, so well done.
There are many
Thank you.
curries.
Yeah.
I get a half point, maybe.
No, you got the whole one. That's good.
Angostura, Dr. Adams, and Scrappies are all types of what? They go in cocktails.
Don't be bitter.
Olive.
Oh, that was good. That
Oh,
was
a
good
bitter.
one.
Don't be bitter that you
You
didn't
got
get
it.
this question.
No, that's okay. Bridget's already. Okay, final question.
That's 5, right?
That's 5. Never
That's
mind.
5. 4 out of 5.
5. Good job.
We're out of 5. Dennis,
you.
recommend Crest toothpaste. I like it. All right.
That's great. Okay, Tom. Got to get 5 out of 5.
I have to.
What is the name of the fall phenomenon caused by dead salmon that provides nutrients to western Washington forests?
Salmon, huh? Spawning.
Perfect. Salmon
Yes,
run. Salmon
exactly.
well,
Salmon spawn.
perfect.
Way to go, team.
We got some cheaters in the audience. That's fun. Cabanos, culatello, and biltong are all types of what?
Culatellos, cabanos are types of cigars.
Cured meats.
What did
But
you
the-
say,
They look
Tom?
like
Oh my
cigars.
God,
They do.
Culatello was the giveaway.
Or the cabanos. They look like little cigarettes.
I don't know. I smoke my pepperoni.
Okay, here's Merriam-Webster just added 690 words to its dictionary. You've got
Is Miriam a man or a woman?
that I
I
don't
was
know.
curious about
I
that.
don't know that.
Yeah.
But I know that they twice a year they issue about 500 new words.
Okay.
Which one of these words were not added? Chefy, Joel of rice, or salmony? And I can give you the definitions if you'd like.
Salmony,
Mhm. Like-
chefy.
And Joel of rice. Joel of rice is a West African dish of rice cooked in a sauce of tomatoes and onions, seasoned usually with garlic, thyme, hot peppers, and other spices, often accompanied by meat, fish, or vegetables.
Well, that sounds like that's a definition in the book.
Uh-huh.
So I'll
it's
go
not
with
that one, Tom.
I'll
It's-
go with salmony.
You're right.
Yeah.
You got it. I was
That's a
trying to trick
horrible
you.
word.
Well, I put it's characterized by an abounding
Smells like
in
salmon.
rivers. Fishy.
Oh, that's really salmony.
Okay, number 4. Can you please describe the difference between soy sauce and tamari?
One is made out of one has what are people allergic to? Wheat in it. There you go. One doesn't.
There you go. And
Are they both brewed?
no, soy
They're
sauce
both-
or shoyu is a fermented combination of soybeans and roasted wheat, where tamari is a form of soy sauce, but is the byproduct of making miso. There's no wheat in it.
There's no wheat in it.
No meat in it. Okay. Please name cruciferous vegetable.
Tom.
As a Catholic schoolboy, I had a really bad thought right there. So,
Oh man, Tom, I knew it. Like,
well, there
come
is
on,
something
man.
involved with that.
oh, is there?
Yeah, well,
There's some Latin there.
here it's cruciferous comes from the Latin word crucifix and blossoms
Oh,
of these
well, there you
vegetables
go.
resemble a cross.
Blossoms resemble a cross. So I'm going to say sunflowers.
Broccoli,
Oh.
arugula, bok choy,
Brussels
cauliflower,
sprouts,
kale,
cauliflower.
I should have known, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Seriously?
So that makes Bridget a
The
winter.
winner. Good job, Bridget.
Hey, Bridget.
So Bridget, you get to pick somebody out of the audience to give your 3-pack of free spice rubs away to from our gift shop after the show. Thank you.
Okay.
If you want to be part of the show, you can join our community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas and Co. or buy a ticket to join us here in the studio at hotstovesociety.com. Show is produced by Becky Guzak, the Tom Douglas team. Sean McFadden is our technical wizard, And our talented editor at Cairo, who's going to be very busy today, is Sean. Don't call me Del Torre. Also, remember, if you miss any episode of our show on Cairo, you can listen via podcast.
It's perfect.
Yeah, just subscribe with your favorite podcast app. Thanks
Thanks
for
for
listening.
listening. Have a good day.
That's what Terry says every week. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
All right, be quiet on the set for just a minute. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Bridget Charters.
Let's try that again.
Sorry. I was like, and I'm Terry Rotero. I've heard it so many times here. Sorry.
Quiet on the set. The hoods are still going, aren't they?
You want me to turn it off?
Yeah. You think it's the freezer? They have to cut this into the sound at the studio. That's why this is a little bit different than the show. Nice job, Bridget.
Chef Bridget.
Chefy.
Chef Brigitte.
Chefy. You smell salmony today.
Thank you, Tom.
That's not a word.
Thanks, Becky.
I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Bridget Charters.
This is where I struggle with my diction. Did you know this? I am Chef Tom Douglas. Like, you heard that? You're Hyam. Well, there you go. I'm not, so I'm going to try and say that correctly. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Bridget Charters.
This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society radio show, we welcome Alaskan Leader Seafoods as we continue to celebrate National Seafood Month. We're going to also continue with Grace Lin and her book, Chinese Menu, The History, Myths, and Legends of Rice this week. Charlie's Produce is here celebrating Food Lifeline and Linda Nageotte's 25-year run of greatness. Ask Sean DeTore. Sean DeTore, will you email me and let me know exactly how long that promo spot is? Because I think I have too many things here, but I'm going to put a couple there. You can splice them in if you need them. Chef Gabriel Chavez is here from El Encanto in Kirkland to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And Dick Stevens, it's time for the James Beard Taste America Seattle event. So I think we'll get them all in there.
Perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know if we have 15 seconds.
I don't know. I'll ask the question.
Thank you,
Perfect.
everyone.
That's it.